Most people believe their homes are getting smarter. Every year, new devices promise convenience. Lights that respond to your voice. Locks that open with your phone. Speakers that answer questions instantly. It feels like the future is already here. But if you pause for a moment and look closely at how most smart homes actually work, something strange appears. The house has more technology than ever before. Yet daily life inside it often feels more complicated. You open one app to control the lights, another app to check the cameras, another one to adjust the temperature, and suddenly the smart home you imagined becomes a collection of tiny digital chores. Press this, update that, reconnect the device. The promise of simplicity slowly turns into quiet frustration. And here's the surprising part. Most homeowners never notice the real reason. They assume the problem is the device. Maybe the brand wasn't good enough. Maybe they just need one more gadget to fix everything. So they keep buying more smart bulbs, more assistants, more tools that promise to finally make the home feel intelligent. But the truth is much simpler. The biggest mistake in smart homes isn't the technology itself. It's how the technology is used. A home filled with devices doesn't automatically become smarter. In fact, without the right design, more gadgets often create the opposite effect. More noise, more friction, and more confusion. A truly smart home should feel effortless, quiet, predictable, almost invisible. And tonight, we're going to uncover the one mistake that turns smart homes into complicated systems, and how fixing it can completely change the way your home feels to live in. Close your eyes for a moment and picture the perfect smart home. Not a house full of gadgets. A home that simply understands you. Lights adjust softly as evening arrives. The room gently brightens when morning begins. Your home senses when you walk through the door and quietly prepares the space around you. No commands, no buttons, no effort. Just a calm environment that feels almost alive. This is the dream most people have when they start building a smart home. Not technology for the sake of technology, but a house that quietly runs itself in the background. A space that feels smooth, predictable, and effortless. Almost like the home is working with you instead of waiting for instructions. But when most people actually begin building that dream, something unexpected happens. Instead of simplicity, the house slowly becomes more complicated. The phone fills with apps. One for the lights, another for the locks, another for the cameras, another for the speakers. Each device works perfectly on its own, but rarely together. Lights respond to one system. The thermostat belongs to another. Your cameras live in a completely different app. And suddenly the home that was supposed to feel intelligent now feels like a collection of tiny control panels. You're constantly switching between apps, fixing connections, trying to make devices communicate. The dream was a house that runs itself, but the reality often feels like managing a small technology company. And that gap between what we imagine and what we actually build is where most smart homes quietly go wrong. Here's the quiet mistake that almost every smart home owner makes. They start with excitement. A smart bulb here, a smart lock there, maybe a voice assistant to control everything. Each device looks impressive on its own. The box promises convenience, intelligence, and a home that practically runs itself. So people keep adding more. Another sensor, another camera, another gadget that promises to make life easier. But over time, something subtle begins to happen. Instead of building a smart home, they build a collection. A smart bulb from one company, a smart lock from another, speakers from somewhere else entirely. Each device is technically smart, but together, they rarely behave like a system. The lights don't know what the thermostat is doing. The security system doesn't understand your lighting routine. The speakers respond to commands, but they don't understand the larger rhythm of your home. So instead of working together, every device waits for instructions. And suddenly, the homeowner becomes the manager of the entire system. You open apps, you give commands, you troubleshoot connections. The house isn't thinking. You are. It's a bit like hiring 10 employees for a company where nobody talks to each other. Each person might be talented. Each one might do their job well. But without coordination, the result is confusion instead of efficiency. A real smart home isn't just about smart devices. It's about designing a system where everything works together, quietly in the background. Because intelligence doesn't come from individual gadgets. It comes from how those gadgets communicate, cooperate, and anticipate your routine. The most intelligent homes in the world share a surprising characteristic. They don't feel technical. In fact, they barely feel like technology at all. There are no complicated control panels, no constant voice commands, no need to open apps every few minutes just to adjust your environment. Instead, something much simpler happens. The home quietly responds to life. When you wake up in the morning, the room slowly begins to change around you. Soft lighting gently brightens the space, replacing the darkness of the night. Curtains open just enough to let natural sunlight enter the room. The temperature adjusts slightly, matching the comfort your body needs as the day begins. You didn't press a button. You didn't give a command. The home simply understands the rhythm of your routine. That's what true smart living looks like. Technology working quietly in the background, supporting the flow of everyday life. A real smart home doesn't constantly ask for your attention. It removes the need for attention. Instead of managing devices, you simply live your day. The lights know when the evening begins. The home knows when the house is empty. Night routines prepare the space for rest automatically. Everything feels smooth, almost natural, as if the house itself understands how the day should unfold. And that's the difference between a house filled with smart gadgets and a home designed with real intelligence. In the smartest homes, technology fades into the background completely. What you notice instead is something far more valuable: comfort, calm, and the quiet feeling that everything around you simply works. At some point, every smart home owner asks the same question: what device should I buy next? Another sensor, another smart light, another gadget promising to make the house more advanced. But the smartest homes aren't built by collecting devices. They're built by designing experiences. Instead of asking what technology to add, the better question is much simpler. How should my home behave? Think about the moments that happen every single day. Morning, when the house slowly wakes up with you. Evening, when the energy of the day fades and the space becomes calm. The moment you leave the house, when everything should quietly prepare itself for an empty home. And night, when the house should shift into a secure and restful environment. These moments define how a home feels to live in. For example, imagine a morning calm routine. Lights gradually brighten instead of shocking your eyes awake. Curtains open just enough to let in natural light. The temperature adjusts to a comfortable level. No alarms of devices competing for attention. Just a gentle start to the day. Or consider evening relaxation. Lights soften into warmer tones. The house becomes quieter. The environment subtly shifts from productivity to rest. Then there's leaving home mode. With a single routine, lights turn off, doors lock, and the house secures itself automatically. And finally, night security. The home dims, doors lock, and the environment prepares for sleep without a single command. When technology is built around these experiences, something remarkable happens. The house stops feeling like a collection of gadgets and starts feeling like something much better, a space that quietly understands how life inside it should flow. For a long time, the idea of a smart home was simple. The more devices you own, the smarter your home must be. More lights, more sensors, more speakers listening for your commands. It looked impressive, but real intelligence doesn't come from how many devices you install. It comes from how little you have to think about them. The smartest homes in the world don't feel like technology showcases. They feel calm, predictable, and effortless. You walk into a room and the lighting simply feels right. The temperature is already comfortable. The environment quietly adapts to the rhythm of your day. No apps, no constant adjustments, no reminders that technology is even there. Because the real goal of a smart home was never to fill your house with gadgets. The real goal was something much more human. A home that understands how you live. A space that gently supports your routines instead of interrupting them. When the design is right, the technology fades into the background completely. What you notice instead is the feeling of the space. Mornings feel calmer. Evenings feel quieter. Your routines move more smoothly from one moment to the next. That's when a house stops feeling like a system you manage and starts feeling like a place designed for life. Ironically, many people discover this only after they stop chasing the next device. Because once you stop asking, what gadget should I buy next, you can finally ask the question that actually matters. How should my home make life feel? And that's the moment a smart home stops being a collection of devices and becomes something far more powerful. A home that quietly understands you.